Today is Lord Nrsimhadev's divine and wonderful, glorious appearance day. So let us glorify the Lord. Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai ho, Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai. Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai ho. So today we're supposed to actually read from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. But on such special days of appearance, actually we have missed many such appearance days even of great Vaishnavas. In fact, many are of the opinion in the Gaudiya Vaishnava line that to celebrate the appearance days and sometimes even disappearance days of great Vaishnavas is, if not as important, as the glorification and celebration of the different divine incarnations of the Supreme Lord. Because by glorifying the Supreme Lord, we certainly please and satisfy the Supreme Lord as well as all his devotees who reside in his heart eternally by his own desire. He has taken the pure devotees into his heart. But what is more important for us especially is that what pleases the Lord more. When the Lord hears the glorification of his pure devotees, is much, much more relishing and having great joy in hearing this. So we begin our glorification of Lord Nrsimhadev by glorifying his pure devotee Prahlad Maharaj. In fact, one cannot properly, fully, completely glorify Lord Nrsimhadev without the mercy of Prahlad Maharaj. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, our highest book or scripture of authority on tattvas and siddhantas, they all find their full expression in this Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Because Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentary to Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra is the delineation of tattvas, eternal truths that need to be understood. That is the meaning of tattva. And Siddhanta is the understanding in the parampara system, in the proper light, what these eternal spiritual truths are, principles are. That is known as Siddhanta. the perfected conclusions of Tattva is Siddhanta. And Srimad Bhagavatam is, in that sense, the Siddhanta, which naturally also includes Tattva. So our root of bhakti, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, begins with Prahlad Maharaj and his teachings. So Prahlad Maharaj was the son of Queen Kayadu and the demon king Hiranyakashipu, most powerful in his time. He had conquested all the way up to Indralok. Indralok was under his control. And Prahlad Maharaj was the epitome of bhakti as against the epitome of atheism, if represented by his father. It was Prahlad Maharaj who propounded the 9 limbs of pure bhakti. All the limbs of bhakti that have been described in the scriptures cannot be considered to be limbs of pure devotion. Srila Rupa Goswami has given us 64, and there are more. But Prahlad Maharaj, having heard while in the womb of his mother the Naradiya Bhakti Sutra from the lotus lips of Sri Narad Muni, who in fact is his eternal Guru. After he joined the school, which was run by the 2 sons of, actually he was not an atheist, and yet by the pressure of Hiranyakashipu in the school, rather, this is a special school which only was visited by royalties, Samarka and Amarka were the teachers. And Prahlad Maharaj never contributed to this teachings of diplomacy and military strategies and administration of the kingdom. Because all these other sciences, without the king, having an affectionate relationship to his subjects, the subjects would never be really happy and satisfied. Happiness and satisfaction of subjects in a kingdom is proven by the fact that the subjects are all very interested and keen in performing pious activities and bhakti and abandoning the ways of sinful activities. These are the symptoms of good governance. So therefore, Prahlad, even at the age of 5, knew that. And therefore, when his father asked him, what have you learned? In the school all these days, father was very affectionate. Prahlad Maharaj was the oldest of 4 sons that he had. So he would be the crown prince. This was apparent. And he was the most intelligent and most peaceful and wonderful qualities that even a demon father felt attracted to. So when the father asked him, my dear son, made him sit on his lap, smelled his head, and asked him, what have you learnt? So he said that, Father, actually the teachers are very, very sincere teachers. But what they're teaching is not an education that will enrich our mind and consciousness. And what will, according to you, my dear son? Asked the father. He said, Kaumaram acharat pragya bhagavan dharman ya durlabam nusham janma tadapya dhruvam arthadam. So, my dear father, this human form of life is extremely rare. One does not receive this wonderful divine gift other than the blessings of the Supreme Lord Himself. And therefore, having received this human form of life should begin very early. Kaumar. Kaumar means till the age of 5, it's Kaumar. And that's the time when boys are sent to the Gurukul. Kaumar acharat pragya should act in a way which has been enunciated by the scriptures. Pragya. Pragya means knowledgeable way. Not acting out of ignorance. Not acting out of knowledge, so-called knowledge, out of material sciences. Because that would not be the proper use and utility of this human birth. And therefore, Kaumarit acharit pragya dharman bhagavan tan iha. And pragya means dharma, to the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan. Dharman Bhagavan tan iya durlavam manusham janma. This human birth is extremely rare. Tad api adhruvam arthadam. Yet, although this human birth is rare, it is also temporary. Adhruvam. Yet, of the most valuable significance, arthadam. When he heard this from his father, from his son, Hiranyakashipu immediately put down his son out of his lap, said, "What have you? You are simply following, supporting my enemy, the greatest enemy, Vishnu, the killer of my brother, Hiranyaksha." So begins this story. Actually, it began much earlier. Srila Rupa Goswami has, out of the scriptures, Nishinga Puran, revealed an anecdote about Prahlad Maharaj. Why he actually became Prahlad Maharaj. What was the cause? That from the very beginning, while even in the womb, he was highly privileged to hear Bhakti Sutra from none other than Sri Narad Muni while staying in his ashram. So what was his previous birth? So Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu has given a synopsis of Prahlad Maharaj's previous life. He was a very simple and not highly educated Brahmin boy in a village. Fell in love with one of the village belles, as he said. Young girl, young boy, is a natural attraction. So they would meet, secret rendezvous, and she would always bring some nice food cooked, and then they would very mundane, romantic discussions, as is the case. One evening, there was a lover's quarrel, which is also natural. Lovers, they fight, sometimes with reason, sometimes without reason. So in that quarrel and in that fight, Prahlad, at that time, had a different name, of course, became very, very sulky, refused to speak, pushed away the food that was cooked by his beloved, and remained silent. Droplets of tear would sometimes drip down from his eyes. Now their rendezvous place, where they always met, was an abandoned ruin of some sort. And villagers never visited that place since it was a ruin, a little away from the hub and bub of village life, a little at a distance. So that was a convenient place for them to meet and remain secret lovers. But that ruin happened to be the ruin of a Nrisingha temple. It was entirely covered with foliage. There was down deep, there was kind of a pit, but nobody knew what was down there. So as he sat on the edge of this ruin, tears dropped, fell down. And down below happened to be a deity of Lord Nrisingha. And somehow or the other, as destiny would have it, these tears fell directly on the divine head of the deity. As you know, tears are very pure form of liquid. So Prahlad remained fasting the whole night, remained awake due to intense emotion of having this quarrel with his beloved. And again, as destiny would have it, this night was the night of Nrisingha Caturdasi. According to the scriptures, there are certain ways by which one can observe this Nrisingha Caturdasi. That would mean fasting, remaining awake for the night, and engage in glorification, reading of scriptures, chanting of the holy name. And then, of course, an abhishek, bathing. So Prahlad in his previous life did all these except reading of scriptures, glorifying the Lord, chanting the holy name. But every other acts. And since the Supreme Lord is the personification of compassion and love, he immediately accepted these actions of Prahlad, which were executed and committed completely unaware, agyata sukriti. This is called agyata sukriti. This is the example that describes what agyata sukriti is. And as we know, that agyata sukriti, when accumulated to a large volume over many lifetimes, it leads one to seek the association of devotees of the Lord. This is a statement in the Padma Purana. And association of devotees is the beginning of bhakti. So Padma Purana is describing how bhakti begins. Bhaktistu bhagavat bhaktena parijayate. Bhaktistu bhagavat bhaktena parijayate. Bhakti begins, initiated, inaugurated by the association of the devotees of the Lord. But how does one attain the association of the devotees? What brings a conditioned soul to seek out the association of devotees and vice versa? Bhaktistu bhagavat bhaktena parijayate. Satsanga prapyate pumbhi. Satsanga prapyate, attains, pumbhi, a human being. Satsanga prapyate pumbhi. Sukritir purva sanchitai. Sukritai purva sanchitai. Out of sukriti accumulated over many lifetimes. So a human being does not only accumulate a mountain of sinful activities over many lifetimes, he can also attain a volume of sukriti over many lifetimes. And therefore, Prahlad Maharaj's Agyata Sukriti, unknown acts of devotion, are called Agyata Sukriti. They're very powerful, much more powerful than any kind of pious deeds or other forms of Sukriti. And that rewarded Prahlad to be born in the womb of a pure devotee mother, Kayadu. But since he had no real intention of serving the Lord, but was actually engaged in sinful activity of meeting a girl outside marriage and other activities, made him take birth in a demon family, the demon father. So Prahlad Maharaj is the propounder of the root of pure devotional service, the 9 limbs, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Padasevanam, Sakhyam, and Atma Nivedana. I may have missed out one. They are all from Prahlad Maharaj. His father, after hearing this, began to torture his son with the intention of completely getting rid of him, because he was, Prahlad was a devotee of Hiranyakashipu's greatest enemy, not Vishnu. He threw him down from the highest mountain. He threw him into a huge vat of boiling oil, locked him up in a chamber full of poisonous snakes, Hiranyakashipu forced his mother Kayadu to give Prahlad Maharaj, drink Prahlad Maharaj poison. But nothing could kill Prahlad Maharaj. This naturally astounded Hiranyakashipu. Any other person, however powerful, and Prahlad Maharaj was a mere 5-year-old child, would have died 1,000 deaths. But how did Prahlad remain unaffected, what to speak of not dying? However, in every single one of these tortures, Prahlad never sought the help of the Supreme Lord. Because he believed completely that whatever happens is the desire of the Supreme Lord. If he is to live, then nothing can kill him. Rakhe Krishna, mare ke. If Krishna protects someone, no one can kill him. Mare Krishna, rakhe ke. And if Krishna wants to kill someone, no power on earth and in the universe and heaven can protect that person. Prahlad Maharaj, by his example, teaches us what devotion is, what is surrender, sharanagati. He's teaching us. And then, when the time comes, completely frustrated and angered, Hiranyakashipu asks, who protects you? Where is he? Let him come in front here. Let him show himself if he is such a powerful person that he can protect you. What is impossible, then let him come. Where is he? Now, what happens is especially important for those who do not have a complete, proper understanding of deities. Hiranyakashipu proves the fact that he is in every single atom. Andantarastham cha paramanu antarastham. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. So, all these statements proving that the Supreme Lord is everywhere, in every single atom and between the atoms. And that He's everywhere. Only a pure devotee's vision sees Him everywhere. A pure devotee is Sarvatra Dakhetar Ishta Deves Purti. Sthavar Jangam na dakhe tar murti. Sarvatra Spurti হয়, সর্বত্র তার হয় Ishtadeves Spurti. Everywhere he casts his glance, he is seeing full manifestation of that Supreme Personality that he has locked up in his heart out of love and affection. So when Hiranyakashipu asks, where is he hiding? Is he in that pillar? Yes. So let him come out, takes out his sword, and he strikes with all his might. And out of that pillar, with a ear-shattering roar of a lion, not the ordinary roar of a lion, but a roar that shakes all the way up to Brahmalok. Lord Nrsimhadeva appears. Now Lord Nrsimhadeva could have immediately killed this tiny rascal of a demon. But Lord Nrsimhadeva knows this demon is my devotee. So let him also be glorified. As a very powerful opponent. Let's have a good fight. But the Lord was not carrying any weapon because Lord Nrsimhadeva maintained all the conditions, respected all the conditions that Lord Brahma had given in the form of boon to Hiranyakashipu. Would not die in the night, not in the day, not in the sky, not on earth, not with a weapon, not by a human being, not by an animal. So all these conditions were met. And one can understand how everything was nicely arranged. So the fight began, started in the morning, but Hiranyakashipu had asked for the boon that he may not be killed in the daytime nor in the nighttime. So the Lord waited for the perfect time when day meets night and is known as evening. Therefore, neither is it day nor is it night. He didn't bring any classical weapons with him, but had such sharp nails made out of iron. So he took exactly at this time, put Hiranyakashipu on his lap, which means it was neither in the air nor on the ground. And he actually sat, Nrsimhadev, on the threshold, because the other condition was that neither would he be killed inside nor outside. You see, Hiranyakashipu was trying to be very, very clever when he was refused immortality, which he had actually asked for from Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma said, I'm not immortal, how can I give you immortality? And then he thought out all these conditions, Hiranyakashipu, thinking this is how he will become immortal. So Nrsimhadev, knowing all these conditions, found still a way to kill Hiranyakashipu. After killing Hiranyakashipu, Lord Nrsimhadev, for most devotees and everyone else, in his Raudra Bhav and Bhayankar Bhav, these are there are seven subsidiary rasas which the Supreme Lord does not relish in the spiritual world. His anger, Raudra Bhav, and Bhayankar, horrific. He had taken the innards from the stomach, which he ripped apart of Hiranyakashipu, and wore it like a garland around his neck. Droplets of blood were shining due to the last rays of the setting sun on his beard. So this was a horrific scene for everyone. No one wanted to approach the Lord. To pacify him and say that everything is over, my Lord, you may please give up your anger. Nobody. So ultimately, even Lord Brahma refused, even Lakshmi Devi refused, because Lakshmi Devi is thinking, where have I seen this form of the Lord in all my time that I've been serving him? So Lakshmi Devi was actually very much appreciative, but this victory of Lord Nrsimhadev was victory of Prahlad Maharaj. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj was sent to pacify as soon as Lord Nrsimhadev saw Prahlad Maharaj approaching. completely fearless, very humble, very demure. Immediately there was a remission of Nrsimhadev's anger. He picks up Prahlad onto his lap. Like an affectionate father smells his head. And then asks him, my dear Prahlad, you are such a wonderful devotee of mine. And you have never asked for anything all this time. Not when your father was trying to kill you, torture you. Not when the fight was going on. At all times you remained so calm and equipoised. Never asking for anything. Therefore, my dear Prahlad, I have this very strong desire to give you a blessing and boon. So tell me, what boon do you want? What does Prahlad Maharaj say? My dear Lord, in what aspect of my behavior did you get the impression that I am a businessman? Why should I want something from you? We've already given everything, even without asking. And now I have to ask for something from you. Like this, a wonderful, beautiful conversation takes place, discussion where Prahlad Maharaj keeps refusing to ask for a boon, and Lord Nrsimhadev does not give up and insists on giving him a boon. So ultimately Prahlad Maharaj says, my dear Lord, my father was very, very sinful and very inimical and antagonistic towards you. Please don't take that personally, just forgive him. So Prahlad, Nrsimhadev Bhagavan said, that is already done because you are a pure devotee and that family where a pure devotee appears, generations, they are liberated. Generations before and after, 7 generations, they are liberated. So that is a boon that you may not ask because it has already been given. So ultimately, Prahlad Maharaj asks, my dear Lord, let me, life after life, serve your devotees. There's nothing more that I want. Life after life, let me serve your pure devotees. And so it happened that Lord Nrsimhadev then wound up his Leela pastime and return to the spiritual world. Any questions?
Gurudev, all these years, I believe that Narasimha appearance happened only for Prahlad Maharaj. From Sanatana Goswami's description about already the Narasimha temple was already established, and that's when in the previous birth of Prahlad Maharaj, he had actually did without knowing all the things like Abhishek and fasting and all stuff. And for what is the reason that, here we see it is Bhaktavakshala, Narasimha come as a rescue for Prahlad Maharaj. And earlier, for what reason Narasimha had appeared, Gurudev?
What reason that Narasimha what?
I've been believing that the incarnation of Narasimha appeared only when Prahlad Maharaj to protect Prahlad Maharaj. But when we hear about Sanatana Goswami's pastimes, about Prahlad Maharaj's previous birth, we understand that already Narasimha had manifested himself. So for what? Because every time when there is a incarnation, there will be some objective or agenda, right, Gurudev? For what reason that Narasimha manifested himself earlier before Prahlad Maharaj, Gurudev?
Actually, Lord Narasimha incarnates many times, not just one time. And because of this but one particular reason, that whenever he does appear, he never appears out of the womb of a mother or any other way, but always from this, from some pillar or some rock, to establish the fact that the deities are actually non-different from the Supreme Lord himself. So, and that, of course, that he is all-pervasive is also another point. And he appears always when some demon or the other appears. But these descriptions are not found because in previous kalpas, Lord Narasimha appears. So this in Satya Yuga, there are no deities. So this ruin must have been from Kali Yuga or from Dwapar Yuga.
Gurudev, on that, I have a follow-up question. So if Narasimha comes in different kalpas, will there be different Prahlad Maharaj or the same Prahlad Maharaj will be coming, Gurudev?
No. Neither with Prahlad Maharaj be same, nor Hiranyakashipur. These are different because at each of his appearances there are devotees. There are devotees.
So the Jivas could also get this opportunity, Gurudev?
Who?
To be part of the Jivas could also.
Any Jiva could get that opportunity. Any Jiva. Hare Krishna. So I thank all of you for your patient hearing and beg forgiveness for all the mistakes I have committed. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna. Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki Jai Ho, Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai Ho. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.